I have just finished my 21st sketchbook, and I thought it'd be fun to flip through it and show you some of my sketches that I haven't previously shared. It's time to go take a look at my 21st sketchbook. These are just some notes for a sketching tutorial. These are some thumbnails for that cover that we've already seen, and also for the redraw, which is right here. I was really proud of this sketch when I first made it. I actually shared that one on Instagram, and this is around the time when I first got my Copic markers, so I was obsessed. Oh, so these, I was riding off the high of making that yellow portrait on the page before, and I made this, and it didn't turn out quite as well as the last one, but I really like the way I made the pants look transparent. You know, you win some, you lose some. So this is a bunch of thumbnails and swatches for, I think it was a Powerful Packs box where I got some acrylics, and I was just trying to come up with an idea for that. The end result wasn't exactly like these. It was more similar to this, and then I just filled some sketches over there. I kind of like the fluidity of this pose. Do you see how like bouncy it looked? Whereas the way I draw dudes was very stiff, but stay tuned, it gets better. Oh, I really like that shirt. That's like one of the rare times I didn't use Pinterest to come up with an outfit, and I'm like, wow, that's pretty creative. These are some more Copic marker drawings. This I kind of was inspired by the shape of a square, and I tried to incorporate it all over the place. You may notice that I use squares for all of the freckles. I don't know, I thought that was unique. And then I redrew her here. Some sketches. This is my friend Annika, or at Little Pine Needle on Instagram. She posted a picture of her, and I don't know if this was her dog or the dog she was babysitting, but it was so cute, and I had to draw it, and I really like the way this turned out. I like that I used a Prismacolor Color Erase pencil for the sketch, and then the lines that I really liked I went over with just a regular mechanical pencil, and I feel like it turned out really well. Here's some more swatches of a new art supply, and then what I drew with them. That's not one of my favorites, so we'll just keep going. This, I really like the bun in the hair. It's like a bow made out of hair. I think that's really cute. The face, you know, I was in a mood that day, I guess. Some more drawings. This was a bit of an art blocky moment for me. You may notice I keep trying to draw the exact same thing over and over again because this is kind of my like go-to, just a random girl face with hair. So I was feeling really stiff and insecure about my art, so that's why I keep going back to my go-to. When I start feeling more secure with what I'm drawing, I find it more easy to experiment. So these are just some more, you know, go-to drawings. Again, nothing too special. Just trying to really break in. I actually really like this sketch right here. I like the line. Whoosh, whoosh. Oh, here, I made a video about how to find your art style, and this was like my first attempt at making it, and I didn't really like the way I portrayed all of the steps, and like the way I spoke. I used weird words, I don't know. So I decided to refilm it, so this is the old one of that, and then I redrew the character in my own style. So not everything always turns out, but I do it again later, so we're all good. Some more random girl faces. Girl face, girl face, girl face with a rare body, girl face. Oh, these were all part of Huevember. I totally forgot. That's why I was doing these drawings with like similar hues. So this was purple for Huevember. Some more girl faces, you know, just trying to loosen up that wrist. A mermaid, another girl face. This I actually just drew recently, and because I ran out of paper, I went through the back of the sketchbook, and if you ever see a Spider-Man, it was drawn pretty recently because I've just kind of been drawing a lot of Spider-Man. So you'll see him right there. Look at that guy. See, I even made sure I wrote 2019 there so that I'd remember that in the future. Because I am currently waiting for my new sketchbook to come in the mail. They're on back order and I pre-ordered it, so I'm hoping it comes soon because I feel like I need paper that's in a collection. Like I'm just drawing in random scraps now that I've used up this whole sketchbook. Anyway, some more girls. I really like both of these. I think they turned out really well. Then this page is a bit of a mishap, but again, I'm practicing drawing the dudes, so I was feeling a little bit more confident, especially after this page, because I think it just turned out really well. If you just look at it. Oh, they both look good. Ugh. And then there's this page. Oh, here I drew this for Thanksgiving. It was actually the outfit I wore on Thanksgiving Day, but I made it for everyone who follows me over on Instagram, and you, of course. So thank you. Here I was in a very long, flowy hair sort of mood, so I drew a character with a huge ponytail. And then, oh, I like this. This one turned out really good. This was one of those like random light sketches that you couldn't really see, but I thought it had potential, so I like went over it with some lines, and it really made a huge difference. I really like that. This I did in a video, so I wouldn't talk about that too much. And here are some more drawings of my character Wheels, who there's her in color. So cute. I just love the bright, poppy, bubblegumminess of this character. She always brings a smile to my face, even when I draw her badly. Woo, look at the little Pokemons. There they are, so cute. Those are my two favorite Pokemon, if you're interested in knowing that information. Squirtle and Sandshrew, right there. But I tried to draw them as like cute and pudgy as possible, and I think it worked out pretty well. And I was actually trying to draw an old original character of mine who was a Pokemon trainer, trying to revisit that, but something about it didn't capture her old likeness, so... Oh, this one I really, really like. Look at her. So this is Wheels, but she's not just, standing there with her hand on her hip, like this one, like I always draw. She's like scrunched up, and it actually looks like a person sitting there tying their roller skates, so I really like that. So the point in this spread was I really wanted to give Wheels some friends to hang out with, and I kind of figured that Wheels likes to hang out like on the beach and go skating, so I thought her friends would kind of need to have similar interests, so they each have their own method of transportation. So we have Wheels, Scooter, and Dex. Dex likes to use her skateboard, and then Scooter has rollerblades. Here I was doing some like color swatches to try and come up with like some bright, happy color schemes to kind of match Wheels. Not 100% happy with those or Scooter's design, so you'll watch as we keep flipping through the sketchbook, you'll see Scooter's design change over time. Well, actually everyone's design will change a little bit over time. But yeah, I'm just drawing them together, having fun. Here I was trying to redesign Scooter a bit, but her face went in the wrong direction. But I kind of liked the hair, so bits of that get taken and moved forward into the next design. And then we have a very faint sketch of Dex on her skateboard, and then a random, girl face. As we see on many of my pages, girl face. Girl, 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 girl. I think my favorite for this spread is this one right here. I like the way the character like sits inside of the shape and the way the hair flows. It all like complements the composition. I think that one turned out really good. You never know which sketch is going to turn out the best. That's why it's important to draw all of them, Oh, this is me. I actually filmed this for a video, but it didn't really make the cut. This was me recreating a digital art piece with traditional mediums. So I used Copic markers and I recreated a digital painting of mine. And I actually like this a lot better than I remember liking it then. So, maybe sometimes you just need to let things sit and then come back to them and see what you think about them then. Here is, again, this is a newer sketch. See, look at me drawing a man and everything. Look at that. Or a boy, depending on, I don't know, what you think of Spider-Man. Anyway. Here's some more girl faces here, but I really like this one. I like the pose where her hip juts out there. I kind of like the color scheme. It's a little bit out of my comfort zone. I usually gravitate towards a lot of pinks and yellows, but this is much more green. But I still think it turned out pretty well. It's always good to try something new. So these are some sketches I did while I just had my sketchbook out and I was talking to my family. And so basically I'm just drawing and talking at the same time. And then when we get to like this side of the spread, it's when I kind of stopped talking and just drew and listened. And I really like the way this sketch turned out in particular. Just like the flow of the hair and like the face, and and the body proportions. I really like it. And then here we have my new attempt at a Scooter design, so you can kind of see what her new outfit looks like with her romper. And you see I kind of shortened her, made her look a little younger, made it seem a little bit more like she'd hang out with Wheels. I'm kind of trying to incorporate them all together and make them feel like a group and like have coexisting character designs that kind of make sense is like what I'm going for here. So then here, I incorporated the new Scooter design with Wheels and Dex, and at this point I kind of realized Dex looks like she doesn't fit with the rest of them. So like now both of them are very cutesy and tiny, and then Dex looks very sharp and like hip and older. Like in this picture in particular, these guys look like they're, 10 or 12, and then Dex kind of gives me like an 18, 19-year-old vibe. So it kind of looks like she's babysitting, and that's not really what I'm going for. I kind of want friends, or maybe that's maybe that's just where the story will end up. I don't know. But then we have Scooter, Wheels. Here I have seeing like what their heights would be. I want Wheels to be my little shorty. And then we have Scooter, Dex, and Wheels being her adorable self. Pretty sure it's impossible to draw her ugly. Look at her. Oh my gosh. And then here for, here's another just hanging out pose with Scooter, Wheels, and Dex. Again, Dex just looks old. I don't know what it is about her. I really need to play around with that design some more. Here I decided to draw their modes of transportation. So we have Scooter's, contrary to popular belief, she doesn't have a scooter. She got the name Scooter for being so fast, because she just scoots. So she has her rollerblades, Wheels has her roller skates, and then Dex has the skateboard. Oh, and here's my poopy. Look at him. So this was like, I wanted to draw him right after he got a haircut, so that's what this is. I like to get his hair cut very, very short and then watch it grow and watch him expand into a giant poof ball. So he was actually sitting on the end of my bed when I was drawing him here. And I love these paws. His paws aren't that big. He has much smaller paws. Like they kind of like follow the shape of this leg. But I drew them huge and they're so cute. And then here he is being adorable, as always. A little pooper. I love you, baby. Oh, this we were getting close to Christmas, I believe, and I was trying to come up with like an idea for a video, but I don't think I actually ever made anything with this theme, but here's some ideas that I had. I thought a girl with weird Christmas tree hair. Yeah, you can see why that didn't end up going anywhere, but I like this like flowy braid there. That's cool. Here I was playing off of a digital art piece that I did. I think I actually uploaded it to Instagram video. Is that a thing? It sounds right. I just did like a quick digital illustration so that I could like play around with that, and you can see I haven't touched it since because I don't even remember what it's called. But I stole the colors and the outfit from that character and threw it on Dex to see if that would make her look younger. But I'm still not, I don't know, we'll see. Gotta keep playing with it. And then Wheels, again, impossible to draw her ugly. And moving on, we have Dex, Scooter, and Wheels, you know, just hanging out. Here I was focusing on like tone and see like which part of the designs would be like the darkest. I don't know. I was also just playing around. Let's not try to define it. So here we have Wheels, Dex, and Scooter. I was playing around with like the face shapes, trying to see if I could make them each look very different. So like Wheels, I tried to use a lot of circles. Dex, I used more like longer shapes, and then Scooter, I used hearts. I kind of tried to use hearts incorporated into her face. I don't know if that makes sense, but it worked. They all look like different people, so that's cool. Some more of our little girl gang there. And here we have a dude. There we go. What do you think of that? I think this one's my favorite, personally. This I actually drew for a Scrawler Box video, I think it was. And what I wanted to do was draw these guys, but I was kind of like hiding their designs for some reason. So I was like, I'll just design a new character with a skateboard. So this was that. But I'm obviously showing these even though I haven't really done anything with them. But I'm still experimenting with their designs and continuing to change them up a bit as I go. Here we have another one of those pages where I just wasn't feeling it, but I still think there's some cool sketches in here. This is from the December Art Snacks, apparently. I'm getting lead all over me just from going through a sketchbook. These hands were clean, I swear. This is when we got the giant like crink marker. I don't have it sitting here, dang it. And I was able to use it to create this, and if you notice it doesn't, oh, it did bleed through a little. Never mind, forget that. But I really like the way this drawing turned out. And this one as well. I just love that bright popping yellow color. It just says, I'm putting a smile on my face. This sketch in particular, I was trying to play around with hair to see how simplified I could get it and still make it look like a certain hairstyle. And I really like that. I think I need to go back to that. I haven't done that in a while. And then here, except for this one, this is kind of new, frog or spider. But this is when I went back to my how to find your art style video. So there's the process of that. I have a whole video on that. Don't really have much else to say besides what I said in that video. Anyway, this is, oh, these two. This is from my New Year's video, and I was trying to design a character to use glitter with. So there's some glitter, there's actually glitter inside everything. So that's gonna make a mess again. Yay! I really like that one. This is a pen sketch with a little bit, is that highlighter for like the nose and the ears? Oh, these two are both some Draw Me with Waffles. I don't think I ever actually shared these. So this one is Small Sloth over on Instagram, and I had planned to draw this sketch like a big actual illustration with like Copic markers and everything, and so I was practicing these little flowers over here to see what kind of color scheme I wanted. I feel like I started that, but I don't know what happened to it. Is it over here? I hang them on my lights for some reason. Oh, yeah, okay. I remember why I didn't show this to anyone. But this is a sketchbook tour. We show the good and the bad and the ugly. It's everything. So what happened with this was actually I messed up with the eye, so then I ended up adding more lines and then more lines trying to fix it, and we ended up with that. But I'm really happy with the way the flowers turned out. I'm not usually big on drawing flowers because I don't find them that interesting to draw. I feel like they're just complicated and boring. It feels like I'm doing math or something. But I really like the way this little piece turned out. I think that's cute. Anyway, it's always fun to try something new. Here we have another Draw Me with Waffles that I apparently never shared, but that is Trash and Sushi Roll on Instagram. Here I was trying to actually design like a playing card that would have wheels on it. So like if you created trading cards for each of your characters, I thought that would be a fun. So I was trying to come up with an idea for Wheels since she's my favorite. I wanted to incorporate her face and her skate, but I didn't want it to be like a random full body. So that's why the poses are so interesting. Trying to just incorporate the face and the skate without too much of the rest of her body, which is very, very difficult. And luckily she's very flexible. But this one I think is my fave out of all these. Some more sketches that are strangely spaced out for me. I usually try to fill the sketchbook. These are some thumbnailing ideas for a 1 marker challenge video that I did. Here I am playing around with my watercolors because I hadn't touched them in what felt like forever. My idea was that the mug has some hot drink in it, and then so it's warming her, and then as her body gets further away from the mug, it gets colder, so I made it in a colder color. I don't know. I thought it was creative. Some more random girl face sketches. Acrylic paint? Yeah, that was acrylic paint. And then here we get into when I got obsessed with drawing a Spider-Man, which was right after watching Into the Spider-Verse. I've always loved Spider-Man, but I never liked the way I drew him or the way he would turn out when I draw him because I just always have avoided drawing the male body. So I was like, after seeing Spider-Verse, I was like, know what? I'm gonna force myself to do it. So I looked at references. I figured this stuff out, man. I really was trying, and I think these turned out really, really well, if I do say so myself, compared to like the ones previously in the sketchbook especially. And so I didn't stop there. I kept going. I kept pushing it, seeing if I could draw them with different body proportions, maybe in more crunched up spaces, shapes, poses, that's the word. And I really like this one, actually. I don't even remember drawing that. This one's good, too. So I went from drawing girl faces to just drawing Spider-Man faces. And here I was using pencil. I was actually drawing these while watching the movie Rampage. I don't know if for some reason I remember that fact. And I was just drawing a bunch of Spider-Mans. And by drawing Spider-Man, it was really helping me loosen up the way I draw men, because whenever I draw girls I usually try to use a very flowy line, and that really helps me draw, you know, the curves and everything, and helps make my drawings look smoother. And whenever I draw a dude, for some reason they just end up like perfect squares for some reason. So drawing Spider-Man really helped me loosen that up. I think it's because I'm just so scared of making mistakes that I like try to draw everything perfect, and then you get those weird squares. Spider-Man was super helpful in helping me trying to loosen up. And you can see here when I more loosened up, when I draw a female, when I draw a male, they kind of still have that softness. It's definitely helping. I really, really like that. And then there's my made up Mary Jane. I designed her myself. I really like that. Scooby-Doo reference, anyone? I really liked her design, so I kept drawing her. And then here I thought, I don't know, why do I keep drawing her as a damsel in distress? I'll draw her trying to save Spider-Man. I don't know, I don't really like that drawing, but I tried. More Spider-Man. Spider-Man, 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 Spider-Man. These were all like more my own ideas. And then this one, I specifically remember finding a reference on Google Images, and I tried to draw that, and that was very helpful because whenever I draw Spider-Man scrunched up, I get really lost. So having a reference was extremely helpful in helping me realize where the legs like stick out, like the way things looks when they're foreshortened. So I'm really glad that I did that. And around here is when I started getting really annoyed that all my sketches were like smudging up because I kept using graphite. So then here I was like, I'm going to add line art to them all. So that is what's happening here. I tried to use the Ohu dual tip of brush marker pen things. Once they come in that weird flamingo box, this thing. But the colors that I was using were just too bold and too dark, and they were really interacting with the line art and hiding it, and I didn't like that. So I kind of avoided coloring these ones. Just stuck with the straight black and white, and then used the black to actually fill in the spaces that are blue. And I found a lighter blue for the blue, and I really like that better because you can see all of the line art lines. Because if you're gonna put time into putting line art, don't you want to see it, you know? I found these illustrations of Spider-Man by the artist Grassflew on Instagram, and they were really, really helping me and inspiring me to draw more Spider-Mans. So thank you, Grassflew, for that. I really liked drawing the Homecoming suit, as you'll notice. Here's when I was coming up with my own Spider-Sona, and instead of really creating a character that was like me as a Spider-Man, I kind of ended up just drawing a spider suit and designing my own spider suit, but that was still fun. Suit, and there are some of the colors I chose. Here I tried to use the Ohu markers, but they're just too dark. So then I went in with watercolor, and I actually really like that. I think that turned out well. And then here I am thumbnailing some ideas because I actually created a comic book cover of my Spider-Sona. So here I was coming up with ideas for that. I have a whole video on that if you're interested in checking that out. But for now, we're going to go back to Spider-Man. So here I am trying to come up with some more ideas for poses. I'm really trying to push those poses, trying to figure out what a scrunched up person looks like. And I'm really happy with this. I learned so much drawing Spider-Man. It's just some random, you know, whatever came to mind. Here we have MJ and Peter. MJ, Peter, Black Panther, or T'Challa if you prefer. I finally saw Black Panther because when it came out in theaters was when I was going through a lot of health problems, so I didn't really make it out of the house a lot. So I missed that, and I ended up seeing Infinity War before I saw Black Panther. But I finally saw it! I liked it. I kind of wish I had seen it before Infinity War. But I had seen Civil War, which he's in that, so that was helpful. So I knew who he was. Now I've seen all of the Marvel movies up until this point. Next up is Captain Marvel. Ooh, okay, here I was swatching my Sharpie markers. Moving on, this is my Sharpie marker video. So I wonder if I should do that again. I don't know. We'll see. Back to Spider-Man though. I finally found two Ohu markers that I really, really liked to use for this. I actually have them right here because I don't put them away because I use them so often. It's actually this pink looking color and this like baby sky blue color. This is like a Spider-Man color scheme, but to make it pop in my sketchbook, I use these colors instead. Enough of that rant. I really, really like these two sketches. This is something I wanted to say. There's some more Spider-Mans. There we have Nathan Roswell, my original character. There's actually a lot of hidden Spider-Mans in there too, I just noticed. More Spider-Man. Oh, this is when the Far From Home trailer came out. And so I'd play it, and then I'd pause it, and then I'd draw it. I think the one I'm most proud of this page is this one because I drew a character with like baggier clothes in those poses. And because I've been able to draw Spider-Man in his little like spandex, I've been able to like figure out the body parts and where they go. So I can actually draw it and like put wrinkles and understand things. And it was like, learning is so exciting. Oh, okay, anyway. And then here I decided to draw some screenshots from Into the Spider-Verse since this went so well. So here we have those two. I think those turned out really well too. I think this was actually Miles and this was the Peter Parker Spider-Man. And I just drew them both as Far From Home Spider-Man because that's my favorite suit. Oh, here's some thumbnails for my drawing with every single red art supply video that I did. And then of course, we're back to Spider-Man. I drew some like little tiny pen sketches. I actually really like those. I like that they're just scribbles and like anyone who looks at them might be able to see a little bit something different. And then when I drew this Spider-Man, I realized his head was like really, really big, so he looks like a little boy. So I called him Spider-Boy. This was actually thumbnails for a video that didn't happen either, same as those. Well, anyway, this is from the How Do I Sketch video, where I go in depth about my process and some of the techniques that I apply to create sketches that look like this. I actually drew these days later, and I think there's like a huge difference. I wasn't feeling entirely comfortable with this, but so I just threw color on it to try to just enjoy myself, and I had a lot of fun with it, even though it didn't turn out. And of course, we finish off the sketchbook with more Spider-Mans. I really like this sketch in particular. I like the pose and the weight of it. This one's really nice. That one I thought looked fine, but then I like flipped it over and I was like, whoa, okay. That's more Spider-Mans. There's some glitter there. I don't know if you can see it. I think it worked really well as a color, an accent color. Then here we reach the end of the sketchbook. We got little Peter saying bye, and we have a little small Peter there. Here I was testing out some markers that I was planning to get rid of, and I wanted to make sure they worked before I passed them on to someone. And then in here we have a pocket. I'm actually no idea what's in here. Is that everything? That's everything. Let's see. Okay, we got a blank sheet of paper, starting off strong. Oh, I actually did this recently. This is Julia Jean on Instagram. Draw this. And I was like, okay. And they were holding a little stuffed llama, and I thought it was very cute, so I sketched that out. These were also, actually, I don't know what those are, but these two were actually for a video, but it didn't quite make the cut, so I cut it up into this weird circle. So that's funny. Oh, there's another one there. I was trying to come up with a fun pastel color scheme. I still like those colors. I think they look pretty. Anyway, I want to thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed going through a little bit of a flip through of my 21st sketchbook. Next up is 22, which is my golden number. So I'm excited about that. It's time to make it my best. But I'm currently waiting for the next round of ELO sketchbooks to come out. So if you're interested, that's the brand right there. I used my gel pen in there too. I'll have the sketchbooks linked in the description. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. How many sketchbooks have you filled, or are you on your first one? That's so exciting. Or do you even keep sketchbooks? Do you like to just have loose paper and you put them in a little folder? Either way, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys all next week, and I hope you have a delicious evening full of waffles. Bye!